Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are all doing well. So Manchester United fans have witnessed many changes to their club over the last couple of months, with loads of different positions changing above the manager. There was a decision that Erik ten Hag was staying, and we've been in the transfer market with us seemingly closing a deal for Joshua Zirkzee. More information on his medical later on in this video. We're going after the likes of Matthijs de Ligt, Lenny Yoro, Jared Branthwaite, Manuel Ugot's been linked with Manchester United as well as a whole host of players. And there's also players leaving the club. One of those players that we thought were going to leave the club is Jadon Sancho, who spent his time at Borussia Dortmund on loan after a falling out with Erik ten Hag. He didn't say sorry. He wasn't allowed back into the squad. He wasn't allowed to train with the first team. He wasn't even allowed to use the same areas of the training ground as the first team once that decision was made by the manager, and he refused to apologise. Many of us have had opinions on that one, and we've been umming and ahhing between ourselves whether to bring Jadon Sancho in. What happens if Erik ten Hag was to be sacked? Would you bring him back to the club? My decision on that one was a resounding no. Although I've been a big fan of Jadon Sancho's ability and his talent, I wasn't gonna see him, just swan back into the club if Erik ten Hag was to leave after that, because I thought the questions around that kind of behaviour and the culture that sets at Manchester United is too much for me. I'd rather see us just get rid of a player rather than set that kind of culture where you can go out against the manager and still be accepted straight back into the dressing room. But Erik ten Hag stayed at Manchester United, so it seemed like Jadon Sancho was going to leave. And now Jadon Sancho is back in first team training with Manchester United when it looked like he was on the way out. That's after a meeting with Erik ten Hag. Now, are Manchester United just doing this to, kind of boost his value and try and entertain people in the transfer market and show them that, look, we're going to keep him. So if you do want him, start getting your bids in. It could be a tactic like that. Or Jadon Sancho could be set to return in a position where Manchester United need someone to step up. Mason Greenwood is on his way out of the club, having spent his time out on loan last season. Now he's looking like he's set for a move to Marseille. Antony has been questioned a whole host of times as well. Not good enough for Manchester United. Amad Diallo is sticking around for Kundo Pellistris, probably going to leave. But that space on the right wing is crying out for someone to take control of it. Maybe it could be Alejandro Garnacho who started there, but now it looks like Jadon Sancho could be a possibility for that. Has he said sorry to the manager? What is going on there? We will get stuck into that right now in this video. Make sure you're keeping it locked. Like, comment, share and subscribe. And like I said, we'll be looking at just what's going on with that talk around Joshua Zirkzee's medical, as it looks like his move is edging closer to being official. Anyway, the ESPN, Rob Dawson, good lad, reporting that Jadon Sancho is set to be reintegrated into the Manchester United squad following discussions with manager Erik ten Hag, as sources told ESPN. Sancho hasn't played for United since August after publicly criticising the Dutchman in a social media post. He spent the second half of last season on loan at former club Borussia Dortmund, reaching the Champions League final. But after holding a meeting with ten Hag this week, Sancho has returned to first team training. He will not travel to Norway for the pre-season friendly with Rosenborg on Monday, but will be available for selection moving forward. United face Rangers at Murrayfield on July the 20th before travelling to the US on the July the 24th for a free match tour. Sancho was banished from the squad after suggesting Ten Hag had lied about his reasons for dropping him for the 3-1 defeat to Arsenal in September. Ten Hag has repeatedly said the 24-year-old would not be allowed to return until he apologised, although he has repeatedly left the door open to Jadon Sancho if he did apologise. United have refused to disclose whether or not Sancho apologised during this meeting with Ten Hag. The club have been open to offers for Sancho this summer, with Juventus one of the clubs interested, but the valuation of 40 million has proven problematic. A statement published on the club's website on Friday read, Jadon Sancho returned for testing on Wednesday following his loan spell at Dortmund during the second half of last season. The 24-year-old forward trained with the group on Thursday. Earlier on Friday, United announced that Johnny Evans had signed a new one-year contract extension And he said, to play for this great club and feel the support from our incredible fans is always a privilege. Returning to the club last season was an honour, representing the team on the pitch alongside fantastic teammates under an excellent manager. Winning the FA Cup together was an unforgettable experience. I know we can challenge for more trophies in the season ahead. That was what Johnny Evans said after signing his new contract. With there seemingly going to be a load of changes in the central of defence, you would expect Johnny Evans would occupy that role of emergency backup that we expected him to occupy last season, but he ended up playing a whole load more football than I'm sure he would have expected. He was brilliant though, none more so than in that FA Cup final where he helped us dig in and get a 2-1 win against Manchester City and lift the trophy. So Johnny Evans has signed the deal, but obviously the big story there, Jadon Sancho has rejoined Manchester United's first team in terms of training. Now, is that an agreement between him and the manager until he finds a transfer? Is he back in? It's interesting, man. I don't know what to expect. And it's been an interesting relationship between him and the manager, because although we have that fallout where he refused to say sorry, the manager refused to accept him back until he did, which I think the manager was right for doing that. Those two had a really good relationship. You know, we seen him after he was sent away to kind of get his head right and take that personal time away and get training and stuff on his own, which the manager backed him with. And we seen them when Jadon Sancho returned to the pitch, that embrace that they had pitch side, the reception at Old Trafford. And that's why it was a surprise to me when Jadon Sancho started taking a dig at the manager, when I don't think the manager really said much publicly. He said he hadn't trained well, so he wasn't in the squad. There was nothing unfair about that. A manager's well within his rights to say those kind of things. I do hope maybe, Jadon Sancho has grown. He has apologised. And if he has, and he's shown that, I'm ready to come back, apologise, work hard, get back into the team, then I'd love for that to be the case. I'd love for that to be the case, because the geezer's incredibly talented. But I hope that it's not something that's going to crop its head back up in the future. And I'm also sceptical that it could just be something where United are trying to protect his transfer value as well, because that is beneficial to the manager. Although it's not beneficial having someone in the squad that hasn't apologised to you. So maybe it is water under the bridge, and maybe they are about to get back together again. And who knows? Hopefully this ends pretty well for both, because it will be beneficial to Manchester United to get Jadon Sancho playing well. But he needs to help and play his part in doing that. Anyway, in relation to transfers, Joshua Zirkzee, according to Patrick Berger, who's a reliable journalist, has passed his medical 5-year deal agreed with an option of an extra one on the club side. The Dutch attacker is a new player of Manchester United, and the announcement is coming soon. So that's the latest on that. But Jadon Sancho back with the first team. Let us know your thoughts on this one. I didn't see it coming. Who knows what could happen? Is this the rebirth of Jadon Sancho at Man United? Get your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you're keeping it like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll be back very soon.